week, we continue on from the last episode where we left Dawn telling us about that mistaken dog hair. And if this is the first time you found us, you might want to go back to listen to that episode because it sets the scene for many of the stories that are about to come up in this one. And a little warning for you, do not play this if you're taking the kids to school. This episode is not for young ears. Yes, we also have technical difficulties, which I think is going to be a theme for us. We lost Ian for a while, although you'll see him. We didn't see him on the day for a little bit, and the audio is a bit distorted too. But hey, we want to keep it real, and we'll figure it out in the end. Oh, and the captions are still getting some of the spelling wrong. But in this episode, we go from heart attacks to sport to inappropriate passwords, and we also talk about our own personal mental health struggles, which is something that people of our vintage don't often talk about. And don't worry, there's a few interesting stories thrown in as well. So let's get back.
You don't look like you're stressed. You look actually quite like nice, calm, even-tempered guy.
Which reminds me,
everyone's got an alter ego, haven't they? Yeah,
everyone's got a what?
An alter ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, Jekyll and Hyde?
Yeah, look, I enjoy life, but it's it comes with its demands. Let's say everyone's got their demons.
Yeah, we've all got them.
I've got to take it easy with stress. I didn't have a great kick off for my 50s. I ended up having a heart attack at 53. And it was completely out of the blue. I considered myself quite fit and healthy. No smoke, no drink. Keep myself fit. I was pretty heavily active, I think, at that stage within VRA as well, and I was a paramedic at the time. It was a real shock, but it turned out to be a hereditary thing. So regardless of what I did, it could have been an Olympic athlete. It was going to happen. So
yeah. But, well, it's a good job you found out before you didn't find out. If you like.
I can relate to that. Not that this is a competition. I had one when I was 28.
Were you what? How old?
28.
28? Wow, okay.
I was working in the city at the time, and I was smoking, drinking and partying for England. And the Big Bang had just happened, but wow, was it a shock. It really was. I was actually in Spain on holiday at the time, and I wasn't allowed to fly home, so I was stuck there for 2 weeks. Yeah. Couldn't do anything. I was really lucky because there were no after effects. Once the next day, apart from feeling really tired, I felt fine. And then when I got home, I got banged straight into Hereford Hospital, and they did a complete investigation. I couldn't really work out what had happened, but I'm really, really lucky. There's hardly any scar on the heart, and what's that? 38 years ago.
Wow.
I've had a couple of scares in the early years, but they came to nothing. And when I talk about it, it's as if I'm talking about someone else now. It was me, but I mean, the longest lasting effect is life assurance premiums. I don't have any life assurance because I just can't afford it. As soon as you put that down, whang, wallop.
Excuse me.
400% loading on the premium, so I just don't bother. It's not competition, but I know how you feel.
It's just stress is no good for you. It's definitely no good for you in that condition. So you just got to roll with it.
It's actually going back to those days when I worked in the city. I recall earlier on in the week I said I've got a great story about passwords.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell it to you now. This is absolutely true. So I'm working in the city. I was a stockbroker. I specialised in government bonds, which here.
Hey, they're back.
Which in the UK here are called gilts. And that's what I'd always done. And I got made redundant, actually, from a company when the market really contracted. A number of us got made redundant. And quite soon afterwards, I got together with some other guys who were in the same position. And we went to another company to set up a new cash gilt trading desk. Now, gilts are what are known as cash stocks. So, and we do, our clients were corporate clients, so we're wanging it around in millions. Gilt stocks settle the next day. So if you do a trade in a gilt stock, the cash settlement happens the very next day. So you need a very effective cash settlement system. Now, it used to be done with messengers running all over the city, and then the Bank of England introduced this thing called the central waxing.
Sorry, Michael. I'm sticking
That's
up
all
the
right.
tissue. My nose keeps running. It's driving me
Well,
insane.
stick it up. Stick one up both sides.
All
That's
right,
it.
I will.
So anyway, the Bank of England introduced this system called the Central Gilt Office, CGO, computer-based system. And we got off and we started trading and we got a few clients on board and we had a couple of girls that did all the settlements for us. And one day this system crashed and it was vital that we got it working because we would have been millions out of pocket if we couldn't do the settlements. So obviously, one of the girls who operated the central gilt office system came to our trading desk and said, "Look, we've got a problem. It's gone down. We could not get it to work." Now, thankfully, our office was literally behind the Bank of England, and so we phoned them up, and they said, "Okay, we'll send a guy round." And so he came round, and I'd gone into the settlements room. And I can't remember her name. I think it might have been Sarah who was doing it. And he said, "Right, I need to get into your system, love. What's your password?" And she just went right red. And I'm going to write it down. She eventually ran out of the room and went into the ladies. And I said, what the hell's going on? We need this password. So the other girl went and got her, went to see her in the toilets, and she came back and she said she won't tell you, but she'll write it down for you. And this was her passcode.
Cock. I like cock. God. Cock out.
True story. I like cock.
Oh,
And
God.
he used it and got the system working for us.
God, I think I'd have left.
How
embarrassing.
Well, yeah, it was
Poor
for
young
her. Yeah.
girl.
Ever
I
involved
bet
with
everyone was creasing up around the whole company.
Well,
weren't
she
they?
was a good-looking girl. I think she was quite popular in the office, but even more
I'm
so.
sure
It was
was.
after that.
Yeah.
family?
What did you all write? Be like Fanny.
Yeah.
Mike, question for you, Mike.
Yes.
Hang on, you're waiting for him to stop laughing.
Hey, was her family ever into poultry farming? Was her
Poultry farming.
family into poultry farming?
Oh,
Yeah, you are breaking up a bit. Well, yeah. Maybe that's what she was referring
Oh,
to.
cock. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get all the conversation. I only heard farming. I was like,
You heard cock, though, didn't you?
I'm so glad you asked me to do this because actually I'm quite enjoying this time.
Good.
so can I tell you, when Michael first asked, I was telling my son, who was excited to start with. Because like a couple of days later, he came to me and went, "You're serious about doing this podcast thing, Mum?" I went, "Yeah." I mean, people are not everyone's going to like you. And people say really horrible things.
Dex, I've got someone at the door now. Hang on, guys.
Tell us fuck off.
What do you mean?
And my response was, "Oh, I'd like them." Because not everyone likes you in life.
No.
And if they do, you're doing something wrong. Really, they're all different. So if everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong. It's which is one of my lines I use at work. Because everyone is unique. It was just the way he said it. You'll have trolls and things. Mum, I went, "Will I? Fun? That'd be good." So but it's and then tonight he tells me, "Mum, don't be so much you. That don't be as much. Don't just calm down. Don't be you." I went, "I was asked because I'm me, but no, how to be anyone else,
Sorry about that.
Well, the bailiffs.
Yeah. Taking everything. Oh, God, they've just taken everything. All the Alexas, I said, take the fuckers.
Either that or your neighbours who had the barbecue so you can't come again.
Yeah, they probably.
They loved me. I was a bit embarrassed because I didn't want to upset anyone, but yeah.
Did you manage to walk home?
I can't believe, yeah, I did. It was only there, Michael. It's not that far.
That doesn't matter.
See that house there?
Yeah.
I
That's the
love
garage.
the rocking horse.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was based on my horse that died 2 years ago.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's all right. I'm not going to cry.
No ugly crying, please.
You can't help it in my age because everything's ugly crying, isn't it, really?
I like that. We're right. She's don't feel bad. It's still a year.
I was bloody
Yeah.
crying this after.
But how,
I was crying this evening watching the news. Some fella, probably about our vintage, was crying because he's not paraplegic, made the cut to go to the Paralympics. Seeing gone. Anyway,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
well,
I bet you his batteries run out. Yeah, and he's crying, and I start crying. What is that?
You're in touch with your being on
That's
the
it.
side boat will come
Yeah, but
out.
30 to 20 years ago, it wasn't like that.
No,
This age, honey.
I can hear Ian, but I can't see him.
that's
no, I
a bad
can't.
thing, Dawn.
Ian,
I can't hear him
Dawn,
either.
Mike, Lisa. No, Ian's not there.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can't see
He's
me.
gone. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
who's that?
Yeah, he's there.
Is it past his bedtime?
Yeah.
No, he's there, but we can't see him.
No, it says
Maybe I touched.
it said it's not recorded. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It might drop. It might come back.
I don't watch the news anymore. I can't be doing with it. I want to live in my own little bubble. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
don't.
you.
I don't want to see people getting blown up. When does the human race learn from their mistakes? Obviously, never. Makes
No.
sense.
Never.
Bad.
Never.
No.
COVID was our big opportunity.
Yeah.
We didn't manage to do it.
No.
Going back to your thing, Mike, though, I think as you get older, I find that you just become, I don't know if this is a word, actually, empathetic.
Yeah.
And you have more empathy. All sorts of situations in life. I think I'm kind of down the path with you on that. I get more and more, I'm more and more precious in a way, which is a bit silly, really. But you relate to people's problems and their issues and their tragedies, and it's just, I think you just become more aware of it and more sympathetic, and therefore you have more empathy. Is there such a word as empathetic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
there
We
is.
become less selfish and less self-absorbed as we get older, I think.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, how do you spell empathy? EMP, isn't
He's
it?
also
You must be an Arsenal supporter, Mike.
I was born 2 miles from the ground.
I used to go and watch Arsenal in the 80s when
Oh.
everyone used to shout out, run, and you used to have to hide from all the bloody hooligans.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I used to be a empathetic. Yeah, it is a word. Adjective, apparently. Yeah, I was a season ticket holder there.
Yeah, good old Arsenal. Charlie Nicholas.
Yeah, oh yeah, Champagne Charlie.
Yeah, Champagne Charlie.
You'll
God,
like this.
we're old.
You'll like this one.
Spurs souvenir. I can't. Yeah, that's good. Little boy peeing up in the shop.
And is that a red? Is that a red Arsenal jumper he's got on? Is it?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So was you born near that Arsenal then?
Yeah, I was born in Muswell Hill, which
Okay.
actually is a high hill in North London, and it looks down over that whole area. So yeah, the nursing home I was born in is apparently out the window you could see the Arsenal stadium. But oddly enough, my dad, who I was really, really close to my dad, he was like a brother to me once I stopped being an annoying little shit teenager. And I was really, really close to him, but he hated football, absolutely hated it. He was a cricket man. And so my love of football, and I do love football, really came from just going to the Arsenal with my schoolmates, and it took off from there. I've got one great chum who's also a big Arsenal fan, and we text each other when we're watching matches. He's still a season ticket holder, actually, and we both. And how old's Phil? He's 60 plus now, I think. And we both say, why does it matter so much? I literally stand behind the sofa when we're 1-0 up and there's 2 minutes Man United, and I pace it down. I can't watch it. It's ridiculous. It's a fucking football match. Why does it matter that much?
Because you're passionate about it.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah. There was a great story he told, actually. He's in shipping, and he spent many years working in Singapore. And he was in a bar one night, and he saw a guy just having a drink with some mates and his wife and that. And he saw a bloke with a Tottenham shirt on and thought, oh yeah, wanker, as you do. And anyway, a couple of nights later, he's in a business meeting, and he spots the same guy who's now got suit, collar, tie, smart shoes set. And Phil went up to him. They swapped business cards. He said, Tony, he said, you're a Tottenham fan, aren't you? And I went, yeah, I am. He said, but how do you know that? We've never met, have we? He said, no. He said, well, how do you know? He said, well, you just look so sad.
Oh dear.
See, I can't football.
No,
I did used to go with one of my ex-boyfriends because he was a fanatical supporter. But I think it's because growing up as a kid, my dad always loved the football, and it was always Saturday, which it used to be called football. What was it? Saturday afternoon football,
Well, it was grandstand, and then on Sundays you got a live match, which on
That's it.
ITV.
And I can just remember being so bored because as a
That's my
kid,
big problem. I wasn't allowed to watch the big match
I
because
hated it.
my dad hated football, so it was Sunday
The
lunch
other way round.
at 2 o'clock, and that's it. That's the end of the big match. Didn't get to watch that. Match of the day was Saturday.
Match of the day. That's the one.
Yeah, they still have that. They still use that tune.
It's
No,
not
I hate
funny you
football.
say that your dad, Mike, because I'm not into football at all, but I love cricket.
Cricket.
Oh yeah, I mean I played cricket myself, and I haven't played for years, but I still like watching it, and I'm not
Yeah.
too much into Test match these days. I mean I will watch them, but how do you have a competition that after 5 days it's a bloody draw?
That's
You know?
it. Yeah.
I much prefer 2020.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd
but I
rather
do.
just a one day than a 2020.
Yeah, well, my mum played cricket. My mum, she played cricket in the 30s.
Wow.
Because her father was a great cricketer, and she had 3 brothers, of which one was disabled. But and she, in fact, that is where it's a great story. This, where my parents first met in Bethune Park, near New Southgate in North London, and my dad was down there. I think they were about 8 or 9, and they were playing cricket. And my mum bowled my dad out first ball.
And that was it.
He didn't talk to her for 10 years. But then, obviously, they realised it was a bit more important than cricket.
So
So you haven't really moved far from London, then? You're on the borders.
No, I haven't really. It's moved northwest. I don't. Yeah, I'm. If you look at a London tube map and the extreme top left-hand corner, I'm just the other side of that, Chorleywood and Amersham, around there. No, I moved out this way basically because through my water skiing. Because although I was working in London, I was spending every weekend out this way, and I just and obviously property's cheaper out here, so I swapped a short journey into work for a long journey into work and a flat I could afford just. But no, I haven't really moved.
That's why we moved here, Mike, sorry.
Yeah.
Because the house, this house, if you put this in Essex, it would be like double what we paid.
Oh, Christ,
it's just, I love it here. I do love it here. It's cool.
I think, as we said last one, we got a little cottage in Cornwall. I would move there. I'd have moved there yesterday. I just
love Cornwall.
Absolutely love it. But
and Dorset is just stunning.
Grandchildren, so
so you in the country, Dawn?
Yeah, I don't know if I can show you out my window. I don't know if you can see. Let me know if you can see.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's a tiny little village with about 330 people, I think.
This should be able to whip them all.
Most of them are coffin dodgers. To be fair, they're all like old.
That's a bit
And
like
they all think I've got Tourette's here because I just come out with random shit and I can't help it. But I've got worse as I get older. I talk like when I first moved here. I was talking to my neighbour that side. And they're probably a young couple in their, I don't know, mid-30s, young, with like 3 kids. And I'm talking to her for the first time on my driveway, saying how I've moved here from Essex. And she's like, "Have you got any children or grandchildren?" I was like, "Yeah, I've got children." And then all of a sudden, I just bawled. I left them in Essex. I'm such a shit mother. And she was like, "I don't know what to say." And I went, "I've got to go in now." I just couldn't go. I felt so embarrassed. Oh, Jesus. We're all right now. We're on no cry terms. It's quite cool.
Good. You're good. That's a step up. That's good.
You're getting low on that bottle, Dawn. You need to top your wee up.
Don't worry, at my age, Mike. There's loads of that. It comes out.
We can all relate to that. Yeah.
Well, not we, but you
What
know,
did you say?
it comes out of every orifice. Not we.
No.
But I don't know about you, Lisa, but now in your 50s, right? This is really quite funny. Well, I think it's funny. Do you have a bath and then half an hour later you start dribbling bath water, or is that just me?
Right.
Obviously, it's just me.
That one.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, but Pat was at me. You're right. I think it's a what I don't know. Where can I explain it?
Well, it's a bit annoying because you have to go and change your drawers again.
Is it something to do with osmosis?
I don't know what it's about, Mike. It's just frigging annoying.
Something to do with
Mike, you look flummoxed. You're like,
water particles.
Oh,
Water
it would be we
particles.
can't see boring.
I'm glad I got this.
hello,
this
Ian,
time.
where are you, man?
I'm here.
Yeah. Osmosis. How do you spell it?
We can't.
Osmosis.
Well, being a paramedic, Ian, is there some
Yeah, you
sort
could
of
tell us what that is. Why?
Osmosis
Yeah.
what's going on?
the movement of
Osmosis is the diffusion of liquids through a membrane
brain.
until they are.
Low concentration.
You asked.
If I'm wrong,
I didn't know I had osmosis. I thought I had wet bath water.
No, you got osmosis, got.
So, Ian, do we have a medical reason?
sorry. Medical reason. You can't see me, but you can hear me. Do you have a medical reason for what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep. Medical
I can't
reason
hear
for
him.
what?
When you're a female of 50s plus,
Yeah.
has a bath, i.e. me,
Yep.
gets out, 10 minutes later, I'm dribbling Radox.
Bath water.
I'm not sure if that's your medical reason. How do I answer that?
I don't know, but we're hoping you can.
Truthfully,
I can't. Sorry, I won't go there.
he can't answer it. He doesn't know.
Some sort of drain pipe might be in order then down your
What,
drawers.
plug,
Yeah, well, yeah.
cork. But then if I sneeze, I'll kill somebody.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you ever work for the circus?
Oh, I like you, Dawn.
No. I worked in Benetton for a while. My mate was Sticky Vicky. Remember her?
Hey, what?
The Aussies won't understand that one.
Vicky?
Well, am I allowed to talk about this, Michael?
Yeah, go for it.
Sticky Mickey. It's not
Sticky
our
Vicky.
Mickey.
So, no, she's hopefully not for Michael. So, in Benidorm, there was a lady. She's passed on now, and the job she had has now gone to her daughter. Anyway, she worked in clubs in Benidorm, and she would take obscure items from her.
Oh, yes.
bit.
Yes.
So it was, yeah. Pink used to bring out, apparently I never saw, razor blades, budgies, all sorts. You have to Google her later, Lisa, but yeah, she died.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I said earlier about me being a dad sucks for many years, so I do it later. So I've
God.
seen quite a few things come out of the gimmicks. It's much
But
more
how do you
in the
first
bath
realise
water.
that you can do that, though? I mean,
Well, I can't do that, so don't go
No,
there with me,
don't know if
because
I'd
that's
want
not
to.
my trick.
it would be quite handy in the motorhome for storage.
I've actually seen someone open like a Coke bottle.
Oh,
With it.
really?
Oh,
Christ.
yeah.
She won't weed bath water.
Well, I
No.
certainly hope not, unless she's spilling out the bottle when she's done. But, that's like...
I'll never forget being in Amsterdam once with a good friend of ours, married a Dutchman. Very, very sadly, he died of lung cancer last year, which is just dreadful. Anyway, a group of us went out and stayed with them, and so we did Amsterdam. And Jan said, "Well, look, we'd better go and have a look at the red light district. We'll go earlier because it gets a bit seedy." Anyway, we end up going into this club. And where there's a live show, and the guy outside said, "You're going to see everything." So, okay, fine. Anyway, we had one guy with us who had a really, really, really off-the-wall sense of humour. And at one point, a lady came onto the, well, I don't know if she was a lady, a female came onto the stage, and she inserted a candle into that obvious part.
Lit?
And then cleverly using her bare feet, took a
Was
match
it lit?
out of a matchbox,
Was it
struck
lit?
it, and lit the candle.
Ah, yeah.
And at that point, Brian stood up and started singing "Happy Birthday." We got thrown out.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Excellent.
okay,
Another
so
true
Sticky
story.
Vicky's
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, that's Sticky Vicky. I don't know where we. How did I
Oh,
get to Sticky
Vicky.
Vicky?
Vicky. Not
Vicky,
Vic-
V.
Oh, I thought you
Mickey,
said
not
Mickey.
That's a whole different ball game, that one.
We enjoy it.
Yes.
Oh, you're enjoying this, aren't you, Michael?
I am. This is what I thought would happen.
You're wrong one.
The one on these two just go wild. Is that what you call us?
Right. Come on then, give us a subject, Michael, to keep in line with the 50 plus.
So, what I originally said about 40 minutes ago about turning 50 was quite significant for me because I don't know how I felt about it. I'm still not quite sure how I do. I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Was it a defining moment, or was it just another birthday, or was it like, oh fuck, I'm 50?
I got it at 60. 50 didn't faze me at all. I just got slightly more pissed than I did when I was 40. As I was approaching 60, it really, really affected, and it caught me completely by surprise. It literally bang, and I'm completely over it now. And like Mike, I'm childless, not by choice, and that aspect came in as well. And it really, really did hit me because I think in my head I'd always had this idea that 60 is it's a watershed. From there on, you're old because you're going to start your old age pension, and I'm not far off it. But so I can relate to you, Mike. But I was 10 years after you. Yeah, it really did affect me. I'm over it now, but it really got me.
I don't give a toss.
I still got shit face, but
I mean,
I don't
exactly
care.
the same. Yeah.
The only birthday that really bothered me was 27, and that was really weird. I don't know why, but 27 was just, I hated it. But now, because my brother's a survivor.
You are weird, aren't you?
I'm very weird. I don't know why. It's
27. Well, it's 3 9s.
But now, having my brother who had pancreatic cancer and he was only given like 18 months to 2 years, and 10 years later he's still alive.
Oh, wow.
I fucking cherish every year. I don't care. At the end of the day, we're still here. We're not dead. We're still living. That's the way I look at it.
It's the alternative, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, my brother would love to be me. He'd love not to wake up every day with a big C in his head thinking, will I die tomorrow? Will I see my kids get married? So that made me appreciate being here.
Yeah, it's horrific. And I think as you get older, you experience more and more of this, excluding my mother's funeral last year, and she was nearly 96, so that wasn't unsurprising. I went to 8 different funerals last year.
Yeah, that's the hard thing.
3 of those were younger than me. Yeah. And this chap I just talked about, the Dutchman, and he what was he, 62, I think he was. Got a bit of a pain in his back, had a bit of a cough. Went to his doctor, diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, was dead 8 weeks later.
Yeah, so quick sometimes.
No, I just lost a girlfriend to pancreatic cancer that died less than 3 weeks after she was diagnosed.
And if you're going to get a cancer, that is the worst one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because by the time they've diagnosed you, it's probably normally gone too far.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe my brother's still here. I mean, my brother is rigid with his diet. He's never been a smoker. He's never drank. And he lives really healthy diet-wise. He doesn't eat any milk now, drink any cow's milk. He doesn't have any sugars. I keep saying to him, you need to do some sort of a blog to help people because he's a survivor of it at the moment.
I have to say, age-wise, no, 50 wasn't a big thing for me. Yeah. Although my party was a big thing. It was 12 months after my birthday, but Michael and our friends took me to the Hunter Valley, which is the winery region, for my 50th, although it was, as I said, it was 11 months after my birthday, but that was big. That was more of a big thing than me turning 50. Although I have to admit, Mike, I'm now much closer to 60 than what I was to 50, and I'm not concerned about that, but my initial thing is, how did I get to this so quickly? That's my thought process. But
it's so quick.
This last decade for me has been interesting because this time 10 years ago, like quite literally, I was in the throes of being diagnosed with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I had a full mental breakdown. I was off work. I was Yeah. So you say about being grateful because of your brother. I went to a stage where just for someone that was so capable of literally just having a thought and my body would move when I wanted it to as a dancer, to shuffling to go from my bedroom to the bathroom, terrified.
Yeah.
It absolutely
Horrendous.
terrified me, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get back to work. Any of that, and I am very grateful for the little things these days. Even if that
So,
little
so
thing,
do you get flare-ups with it? Is it?
I
Do you get
do,
flare?
I
Yeah.
do. I have got, I worked, when we worked out, the doctors and I worked out why it was so severe when it first hit, was it hit at the same time as menopause.
Right.
So that is exacerbated every single symptom. And as that has, as I've gone through that and getting to the other end of that, I don't have as many flare-ups.
Mm.
I do pace myself, although people with me will say I don't, but I do. My main concern these days is I'm always in pain. That's just the way it is. But it's more like chronic fatigue that affects me more than anything. So I can
Mm.
work all week, and then I will
Sleep all
nap.
weekend.
I will nap, and a nap for me could be 4 hours. Like,
Lisa, please look into this online because there are people that have got fibromyalgia, and I'm not selling it. I'm not
no,
anything
no,
to do
that's
with
okay.
it. Just look into Unicity. There's guys, lots of guys that are promoting it, but there's also so many people that have had fibromyalgia and so many other chronic illnesses that swear by this now.
It's the
You
chronic
know,
fatigue that gets me the most now, and if I get, like I recently had the flu, if I actually get a dose of the flu, it takes me longer to get over it.
yeah, it really wipes you out. It's
Yeah.
all your immune
But
systems.
look, apart from that, I get up and go to work every day, and I work hard because it terrifies me that at some point I won't be able to.
But you're the
And
only breadwinner, are you, in your
correct,
household? Up for
correct.
the sons, does he
Yeah.
help out, you know, in the bills and stuff?
My son actually has several mental health conditions, so no,
Not
I
working.
help him.
Right.
But it's I'm just grateful for
Yeah.
the second chance I've had to be able to get on and live life. I mean, Michael saw me at times at my worst, so he knows
What you've
what
been
that's
through.
like. Yeah,
Mm.
and it was it between him and Vicky and our other friends at the time, that it was a great support for me because I I isolated myself because I just
Couldn't
that's
cope
what
with
you
it.
do. That's what you do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But and that's like me, you know. I'm pretty fucked up sometimes, but I think with me, I keep it all very well hidden. I'm the joker. You know, I'm not confident, no matter what all this is. You know, all this gab. I'm the most insecure person going. I'm not good in big groups of people. I don't know what to talk about. But people go, "Oh, that's rubbish, Dawn." And I go, "No, it's really not. This is me." I put a lot of barriers up, and I talk crap to hide me. There's not many people that know me.
and you know what? That is the most common thing that we all do. I think
Yeah.
the biggest lie that everyone tells ever is when someone says, "How are you?" and we go, "We're good.
We're fine, yeah.
We're
Oh,
fine."
okay.
Because
Yeah.
that's a blatant lie. And if we actually came out and told people how we actually felt, they'd run for the hills.
And
But
also, I don't want to burden people with my shit. I'd rather go, yeah, I'm good, because I don't want them to go, poor Dawn. You know,
yeah, you know what
I
though,
don't want
John, and this is what I
sympathy.
found really interesting. When this first happened to me and I first had my breakdown, I actually put it out on Facebook. And the amount of my friends that reached out, well, first of all, it can't be you. You're always smiling, or you're always laughing, or
Yeah.
but the amount of friends of mine that reached out through Messenger and just through messages and phone calls to actually say, gee, I felt like that for a long time, but I don't tell anyone because no one
Yeah,
wants to
exactly.
know. And that really,
Opened
really,
your eyes.
well, it
Something.
upset me because
Yeah.
and even, I'm assuming that in the UK there's the same sort of level of awareness and social media posts and things like that about mental health.
Yeah.
It is beyond me how with everything that's out there, there is still such a stigma attached
Yeah,
to
but
mental health.
depends
I
on what
don't get it.
generation as well, though, doesn't it? I mean, when my mum and dad are still here, but they're both going through cancer at the moment, as everybody in my bloody family has. But my mum, when she first got diagnosed with breast cancer, and she was going to the Macmillan nurses, which was a society where you could go and sit and have a coffee and talk about what was going on. And they said my dad needed to go to see a counsellor to see how he was doing. When my dad came home, his generation, he walks in the door, he goes, I'm going there again. He went there trying to ask me what's going on. He said, and all I wanted to do was tell jokes and make them laugh. And I was like, but Dad, that's not what it's about. You know, you're going there to discuss how you feel. I don't need to talk to strangers. And he wouldn't. He just wouldn't. He was not like that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot and still there's still for men there is that
Stigma, yeah.
stigma that you've got to be strong and tough and and I find that so
Angry making.
yeah because
Frustrated.
yeah
But
it is
it's
frustrating
a
because
hard thing to change, because if I look at myself and look at my parents, for instance, Dad born in 1940, loveless household, Scotland, Glasgow, really strict Catholics, no love in the house. He had no role model to show him of a supportive type of parent. He couldn't wait to get out of home, so he did his trade on the shipyards on the Clyde, and as soon as he could, he's on oil tankers travel around the world. Found alcohol, become an alcoholic. But he's been sober for more years than he was drinking, which is great.
yeah
Really,
yeah
take my hat off to him for that. Then my mum, 1942, she was born single. Her mum was single because my grandfather was killed like a couple of months before the end of the war in Italy. So she's bringing up two girls. She's got her mother, who's got a brain tumour and needs constant care and feeding all the time. And then she's got her brother in the same house who had what we can now say he had post-traumatic stress from being a medic in World War II. So her mum, the way that she dealt with that sort of stuff is, well, you just got to get on. You just got to get on. And that's what they did. And that's what they did. And my mum picked that up as well, obviously, because that was the only role model she had. Then my dad, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, he worked really hard, but he was never present in my life. So, well, I shouldn't say never present in my life, but he was not very present in my life. And so we didn't have a relationship. There's not a lot of empathy in the home, because I realise now that my mum was probably depressed most of her life as well. So, and my sister and I have talked about this. We grew up knowing that if we want anything done, got to do it.
Do it yourselves. Yeah.
Have to do it. Otherwise, it will not happen. And so, examples of that were I really wanted to try boxing. I saw in the Malden and Burnham Stand at dawn that there was a boxing club at Malden. I said, I want to have a go at that, because I was a bit bigger than most kids. I'd have a go at that. And my dad would say, well, how are you going to get there? Well, can't you? No.
Can you give me a lift, Dad?
No, I'm not driving you. No, I've got work to do. No, you can find your own way there. And my sister will talk of instances the same. She had the same. So we learned very early, it's all up to you. And so it's always been that way. And then when you play sport, one of the things that was always I was rewarded for was being tough. So I played rugby, not that other game where they act, the one with the little round ball. And you are
You mean wrestling?
and you are praised for when you get a big hit and you get up and you keep going. And so all these things, create that it's just all up to me. If I want anything done, I've got to do it myself. No one's going to help me. And that's how, well, I ended up, and I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm
And
not
you've
the only one.
succeeded though, Michael, haven't you? You've succeeded in life, yeah?
But I think what, yeah, I've done fairly well. Yeah, as my mum would say, you turned out right, didn't you?
Yeah.
But
Fucking, just give me a cuddle, Mum, and tell me you love me and I'm fucking brilliant. That's what I really want, honestly.
I've never heard my parents say that to me,
Oh, that's sad. That's so
and
sad.
it's
See,
weird
I
because
always say that.
it's weird because it's not that I didn't know, but it was just never
Ouch.
said. It's weird,
Mm.
but
Yeah, you knew you were loved, but they couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no, dog
It's
wants to
alright.
go out.
I need a wee.
That was a quick pee. Did you
Went down the
just
wrong hole.
stand over and dribble?
No, mate, it comes out like waterfall. Don't you worry.
You
all
were
the fluids
you were
I'm
quicker than
drinking.
Mike's dog.
Oh, God, it's gone down the wrong hole.
Oh no.
It says something.
so where I was going to when I was talking about the whole, it's all up to me thing is you've learned. I don't. What's the point of getting help? No one cares. It's all up to me, and then so that's the way you live your life.
Yeah, but what a lot of pressure.
Exactly.
But you don't
And
know.
that's why you
Yeah,
die, have these heart attacks.
don't
And
forget he's
get
not
out.
Vicky. He
But-
has got Vicky.
Yeah.
But you don't know any better. That's what I'm trying to say. That is intrinsic to who you are. You don't know any better. And so
Yeah.
when someone says, go and talk to someone, well, what am I going to talk to someone for? What are they going to do for me? I have done that. So I know the value of it. And it's probably why I can talk about it. But yeah, that's, I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah.
Hey, someone's coming back, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking again back. Picture.
I haven't got a picture. I've got
He's
Me
coming.
neither.
black square.
Oh, I don't want him to do that live on the screen.
Oh, no. I've got the tissue.
That's for your nose.
Well, it's dual purpose, love.
Did you have a bath earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going in the garden later. I'm going to be the first human sprinkler around. I have a head mat. I'm going to be spinning.
Hey, he's back.
Hey,
Hey, Ian!
Hey.
So
Where you been, man?
So we were talking about
missed you.
how mental health and about how men of our generation find it really difficult to seek help, and I was talking about how I was brought up in a certain way that just led me to have the belief that everything was up to me. No one cares, and so you just got to get on, and it's all up to me. So I'd be really interested to see listen to you, Mike and Ian, about your thoughts on that.
I was very fortunate. I was very close to both my parents, and my dad died very early. He, like your dad, Michael, he had an issue with alcohol. It didn't really cause too many problems, except he spent a lot of money in pubs, and he wasn't a drunk. He didn't get drunk. He just drank every day. But I was very, very, very close to him, and he put a lot of effort into that because his relationship with his own father, my grandfather, who I remember, I mean, he was really Victorian attitude. He had his father, my great grandfather, had died in his and so he really brought himself up from his shoelaces and ended up being an accountant. And he got into public offices I've got a list somewhere of all the public offices he had. So he was very, very bombastic. And apparently, according to my own father, he couldn't do anything right. Whatever he did, it wasn't good enough, and he could have done better. And my dad said to me that he never wanted that relationship with his own son, i.e. me. So I was really fortunate. I got supported by both my parents in just about everything I did.
So he did break the circuit then. So there are guys.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and he did a fantastic job. It absolutely, I mean, he died when he was 68 and tore my heart out. It really did. I'll never have a friend like I had in my dad. It just
Beautiful.
won't happen again. We were that close. We really were. So I was very, very fortunate. Yeah, I think, I wasn't spoon-fed anything. I had to make my own career, and I did, and I was fortunate. No, I got a lot of support, a lot of support. So a different experience to you, Michael.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
For me, lucky
Well,
and grateful.
Yeah, well, right out really. I'm an only child. So right, hey, like basically I see people saying, "What's it like when you not having brothers and sisters?" It was just like, "Well, what's it like having brothers and sisters?"
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right out bringing that. Everything's there was always a full house, regardless of whether I had brothers and sisters. So I had no real, I grew up being quite supported, given all the opportunities that were available to us. My parents were great, wealthy people in any respect, but I never wanted for anything. My challenge is, funny enough, not so funny enough, my challenge has come very, very recently, since leaving, or maybe just before leaving my career, things catch up, I found that it was more plus I left the early belly of the job and had a chance to step back and drop the levels of adrenaline, those things that happen in those situations, that I then realise I have a significant problem. So I've done quite a bit of work with the local mental health hospital on myself, not we do, before me, and worked through some demons. But I think the thing I found really was these things just creep up. People. So I was reading new people. See if I stick around this time. Yeah, but I sort of realised it was as much what had happened in my work life as to how I had to deal with post work life. But took on responsibility myself that this was an inevitable thing to happen regardless. So now I need to just accept it and move on. Some people can't do that. I find that's a bit difficult. But I realised the one thing I think I learned out of the whole process was that I began to very much dislike myself because I thought there was something wrong with me. But I finally realised that my brain really good at protecting me just the way it should. But the byproduct of that is that I am more weak for the rest of my life, and I deal with that. So it was a challenge. It's a challenging thing. It's a day thing. But I had to come to realisation I needed to do something to change the person I thought I was and who I was, to be able to come out the other end and be something half decent for the rest of my life. But yeah, it's challenging. But I have this, it's diagnosed as PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. I don't think we were saying drop the syndrome, put injury in there. So it really is to mental injury, not a mental illness. Injury. Yeah, the thing I found out was that, and it's only just starting to happen now, is that a lot of other people from like the armed forces, police, fire brigade, all the emergency service and first responder group was designed specifically for that. And out of that, they are starting to realise that there's an element or subset of PTSD or PTS that's considered to be what they call complex PTS.
Yeah.
In the diagnostic manual of the PSN for psychiatric illnesses, complex PTS or PTSD is generally because it's been childhood trauma. And experience that. I challenge that, and this is where I found out through their research and they're looking into this as well, that it's now a subset in the PTSD diagnosis of usually to first responders, but first responder induced PTSD. Yeah. So it is a complex one because it's constant, significant, and unrelated. And so, that was the sort of thing. So this whole thing of complex PTSD, which has its basis in early childhood trauma that then carry forward into adulthood, and then all of a sudden there's a realisation, is that in emergency service areas or defence areas, whatever, that can be acquired just through the day-to-day. So that was good. To me, that was great. It was great because it explained a lot of things. When I was able to say, well, hang on, one look broken. In fact, they actually worked really, really well to protect me, but what's the rest of what for work, But yeah, so
that's what I was going to say, because when you're dealing with that every day, you put up that shield, don't you?
Yeah. Well, the thing I learned in my line of work was, for the most part, can you see in there?
Yeah.
Okay. The most body will see. Once or twice in the after, then I'll jump up to gear. Now what's called the flight or fight response. Then we'll come back down somewhere closer, hopefully back down to ground zero and live the rest of their life. The first responders, emergency service, whatever, they live here. And every so often they have to jump up here, and every so often it's generally every shift, maybe multiple times, and then come back down to here. They never come back down to here. Yes, they do. When you retire, you go from there to here. And that's when the challenge starts. Because there's no need for flight or fight, or in emergency service, there is no such thing as flight, so it's always fight.
Yeah.
You then come back down to ground zero, and that's when everything becomes flooding in. You don't have that defence, and you're doing your flight or fight response to deal with it. And that's when I found it came. Some people will find it very curious, one particular job or whatever. No, I can't pinpoint a job. That happened, and now I've come out of that situation. My thing's totally different. I don't have to have that defence mechanism. That's when it came. That was my step. The line came later. None. And nothing ever controlled it. Very much trouble. Yeah.
At least you knew you had to go and do something about it.
Yeah, really. Yeah. It was, let me tell you, it was ultimately important to do something about it.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
That bad.
It's unexpected, but it's unexpected to me that as we go into this period of life, that we still get challenges that come at us, and we don't. Where did that one come from? And you start some things to face. I think it's going to be a drift, but it isn't.
I think experiences are broader and more grander in the amount of experiences you've had. So yes, for sure. It's a natural thing, I suppose. Life ending stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I find with my dad, he's, what is he now, 82. Me and him have got a very testing relationship. Don't get me wrong, when I was young and he was young, we had a great relationship. I always thought my dad was great. He used to make us go-karts and do stuff. But I don't know where this has gone. My brain's just gone. See, Lisa, what happens?
I don't know where you're going. I can't.
No,
I
I don't
think
know
that's
where I'm
very common, Dawn. I remember I said about my dad talking. He never talked about his childhood in a good light ever.
No.
And then we reconnected with his sister, who lived only up the coast here in bloody Central Coast, but they never talked. Yeah. So anyway, we reconnected with his sister, and when I chatted to her, because Dad would never speak to her about this sort of stuff. When I spoke to her, she goes, I don't remember that. I don't remember the way that your dad remembers things. It was different.
Yeah.
So I think it can be quite common in families.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because I used to say to my brother, I said, well, Dad used to take us on holiday. He went, Dawn, all I remember Dad doing is taking us to his football matches when he used to play for Southminster, us sitting on the sideline, bored as crap, and him trying to force me to play football, and I hated football. And I was like, I really do not remember Dad like that. But that's where I know where I'm going now. But as I've got older, me and my dad's relationship has become more and more fractured, and I am full of guilt because I know at some point he's going to not be there. And I have tried over the years to sit down with my dad and go, what the fuck is your problem with me, Dad? Why do I frustrate you? Because I remember we was in New Zealand, we was outside and we'd had a few whiskies and we were chatting, and Tim, my husband, was there, and he was like, well, what is your problem with Dawn? And he just gets angry and goes, I can't talk about it. She just fucking, he doesn't swear. She just frustrates me. And I'm like, but what do I do that frustrates you? Tell me. I don't want to talk about it. You'll only get upset. No, Dad, I'm getting more upset because you won't tell me what I've done wrong. Whether it's the fact that I got pregnant when I was 15 and he holds that against me, I don't know, because he won't fucking tell me. Now, I'm so fearful that one day he'll die and I'll be like, why did you not like that about me? All I get from him is, you're too honest, Dawn. You're too blunt. But, Dad, that's me. I can't change, mate. I'm 57. Don't hate me for being me. And that's what I struggle with him.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I think if I can draw my experience, I don't want to be the the bearer of bad tidings, but I don't think it's ever going to change.
No, I don't think
'Cause-
it will now, Michael. It's been too
'cause-
long in the tooth.
It's something that I've struggled with my dad in, you know, what I talked about. You know, it was, we never had a relationship as such. And so, well, I shouldn't say never had a relationship. The relationship we had was not what you would expect a father and son relationship to be. And it was a real smack in the face when, you know, he got dementia and you know, his personality changed. And now I know this might sound really weird, but it's now final. It's not going to change. And I'm actually grieving the fact
For your dad.
that I can, that for him, you know, he's got this disease. I'm grieving because I know that I will never have that relationship with him. And the childlessness is also mixed up in that as well. Because like Mike's dad, I had visions of the way that I would be a dad. And so there's a layer of grief in that. And so, I've had to come to terms with the fact that it's going to let go because it ain't going to change. And that's
Well, I think that's part of this age group as well. Is learning how to accept those things that you just can't change.
No.
It's a great shame. I mean, your dad. It's a shame. He needs to know how lucky he is to have a daughter.
I know. Yeah, and I tell him that all the time. You're one lucky bastard. But, you know.
And this is where we're going to leave it for now. In the next episode, the girls give us an education on menopause. It gets interesting. Now, we'd love to know if any of this resonates with you. And you can comment to us via YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And if you enjoyed this, please give us a like and a subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast platform on which you're listening to us. But the best way to help us out is to share it with your friends. And on behalf of us all, thanks for being here.